And now, it's Kia Vancouver Soccer Talk on CL 650. Now broadcasting from the Barber & Co. studios. Here's your host, Tyler Green.
Big show tonight. We talk all things leading up to the huge Major League Soccer dispersal draft. I'm kidding. But it is going to be interesting as to whether teams in MLS pick players or simply just pass them over, which is also an option. You do not have to pick a Chivas player. So it will be interesting what some of these Major League Soccer teams are going to do, and specifically here locally, what the Vancouver Whitecaps are going to do as they select 20th in the dispersal draft. Whitecaps head coach Carl Robinson will be by on the program to discuss that, along with the expansion draft, as I ask Carl Robinson the question, who are you protecting? We'll find out if he gives me an answer or not. The Vancouver Whitecaps parted ways earlier this week with center back Carlisle Mitchell and Canadian midfielder Bryce Alderson. We'll ask Carl Robinson about that, but are Omar Salgado and Darren Maddox the next to leave, or will they be back next season? And Ben McKendry, a name you might not be familiar with. I think most probably are. He's having an outstanding season in NCAA soccer with New Mexico. Is he in the plans for the Whitecaps in Vancouver in 2015? All topics of conversation with Carl Robinson tonight at 11:15. Good evening and welcome to Kia Vancouver Soccer Talk on CL 650, broadcasting from the Barber & Co. studios. My name is Tyler Green, on Twitter at TylerGreenFC, and the blog is tylergreen.org. You can listen to the program on the radio at AM 650. You can listen to it online at CIL650.com. That's CISL650.com. And you can also watch the webcast on that very website. And then the first half kickoff is brought to you by KO, Kevin O'Toole, and findaproperty.ca. Kevin has a new spot, a new home that he's selling. He's going to unveil it on his website, findaproperty.ca. Saw a couple pictures already. Looks stunning. Some stunning views in those photos. But that's Kevin O'Toole, licensed realtor with Prudential Sussex Realty, and online at findaproperty.ca. So Carl Robinson will join us tonight at 11:15 p.m. Talked about some of the topics that we'll have on with Carl Robinson. But we also have former Whitecaps head coach Tater Torderson on the program this evening at 11:30. He'll join us from Norway. And he's going to join us in a new segment called Where in the Whitecaps Are You? As we catch up with some former Vancouver Whitecaps players, coaches, staff, and find out exactly what they're doing now. It could be players that are still playing. It could be guys that have simply retired and are hanging out on the beach somewhere. That's coming up in the second half of the program. Some of those guys, by the way, in the Where in the Whitecaps Are You? Just going to join the program as an analyst and talk about the game, whether it's in Europe, whether it's here locally with Major League Soccer. But we'll find out what Tater Torderson is doing, and also what was his mindset when the Whitecaps were picking players in the expansion draft, as they were the newest expansion team along with Portland. What were his thoughts on what players he wanted and what that draft had to offer? So one of the topics we'll get into as well with the former head coach of the Vancouver Whitecaps, Tater Torderson. It will be fantastic. Simon and I and our producer Greg were watching some of the lead-up videos to the Whitecaps' inaugural season and the countdown video, and I believe it was number 5 or 6 that he did, where he was talking about making some noise, cheering on the team, but no vuvuzelas. And then there was the other video about seat selection and where you should sit at BC Place. Some classic commercials. Got to get Carl Robinson doing some of those now. That'd be outstanding. The Canadian U20 squad is impressing. A couple friendlies now under their belt over in Europe. They drew England 2-2, needed a very late goal to do so, but a nice result nonetheless. They beat Russia 2-1 earlier today. Or tomorrow. I don't know. Is it tomorrow? Well, I think it might have been tomorrow in Russia. I don't know. Timing. It was very early this morning anyway. But they beat Russia. Brings us to tonight's Barber Pool, presented by barberandco.ca. And with those two results for the Canadian men's U20 squad, is that giving you hope for the future of Canadian soccer? Is it getting you a little bit excited as to what the future might hold for this Canada squad in just a few years' time, when some of those players graduate to a regular spot on the Canadian men's national team? You can tweet us your thoughts with the hashtag BarberPoll. On Twitter, SoccerTalk650, Tyler Green FC, Simon Fudge 74. You can hit the Facebook page as well at facebook.com/SoccerTalkVan. The Barber Poll is brought to you by Barber & Co., Gastown, Yaletown, the Financial District, Cambie and 18th. We're on the corner of Main and 12th. Find them on Twitter at Barber & Co. or visit barberandco.ca. That's barberandco.ca. One of the things you can do at Barber & Co., and a buddy of mine was doing this, he was in a wedding party. So they were all going. Today was the big day for the wedding. He was in he was one of the groomsmen. And they all hit Barber & Co., got the haircuts, got the shaves, got it all done up right so they'd look nice and smooth, fresh for the wedding this evening. It's barberandco.ca. Speaking of over in Europe with the Canadian men's national or U20 team, well, it's Euro 2016 qualifying. It's going. Few surprises. Some teams you would not expect winning games and getting a few points over the last few days here. So we'll get into that topic in the starting 11. That's coming up in just a couple of minutes. Plus, the new kits from New York City FC. Good or bad? So far, I've seen people, there's really no in-between for this one, I don't think. I've seen people who just love them or just hate them. What do you think? Let us know. And who would you select if you're FC Dallas and you got to pick first in the Chivas USA dispersal draft? No, the guy that everybody wants is not available. So he is not an option for you. But there are some other players that are a little bit interesting. So you let us know who you would pick, because we're going to do that in the starting 11 in just a couple of minutes. You're listening to Kia Vancouver Soccer Talk. It is right here on CL 650 Radio in Vancouver. And right now, get into Kia Vancouver for free lifetime oil changes, car washes, and free lifetime airport parking and shuttle service. It is only at BC's #1 Kia dealership, 396 Southwest Marine Drive at Yukon, KiaVancouver.com. All right, up next, Kia Vancouver Soccer Talk and Goal.com writer Simon Fudge and I will debate the starting 11. That is next.
Follow us on Twitter at SoccerTalk650 and at Tyler Green FC. This is Kia Vancouver Soccer Talk on CL 650.
Pain or injury slowing you down? Take it to the choice of many top athletes, Expert Physio. Serving the Lower Mainland for over 35 years, the team at Expert Physio is dedicated to individualized care with specialized services such as orthotics, acupuncture, IMS, plus dizziness, pelvic floor, and certified hand therapies. Over 300 physicians referred to Expert Physio last year, and 100% of patients surveyed said they'd choose Expert Physio again. You're in good hands with Expert Physio. Burnaby Heights or at 8 Rinks, expertphysio.ca.
Nearly 70 years ago, Charlie Wolford first started fixing loggers' boots. He did such a good job, loggers said if he'd make boots from scratch, they'd buy them and tell their buddies. Charlie named his brand Dayton, and ever since, Dayton Boots has put the same craftsmanship and love in every pair built right here in Vancouver. Times change, but the quality in every handcrafted pair of Dayton boots never has. Mention Kia Vancouver Soccer Talk and take 10% off Dayton Boots, 2250 East Hastings. Dayton, wear a legend that lasts.
Not that your stylist at the salon isn't doing a good job, but man, you deserve the big red leather barber chair experience of Barber & Co. Here's how it works. Go to barberandco.ca. Book your appointment at one of the 5 barber shops in Gastown, Yaletown, the Financial District, Cambie at 18th, and now Main Street and 12th Avenue. You can just walk in, too, and get your hair cut, hot shave, buzz cut, fade, or beard trim experience. A great wedding party idea, too. barberandco.ca.
Sold in over 70 countries, Italy's signature white wine is Santa Margherita's Pinot Grigio. And here in Canada, it's the #1 selling 750ml bottle. Santa Margherita's Pinot Grigio is also the only wine sold in Canada to be carbon zero certified. This means the environmental impact of its production has been offset by investment in environmental initiatives. After all, exceptional wine can only be made in an exceptional setting. Outstanding quality, sustainable production. Santa Margherita Pinot Grigio. Available at BC liquor stores.
It's me, Mary Poppins, returning to the Stanley Industrial Alliance stage just in time for the holidays. Experience the magic and get swept away with enchanting musical numbers like Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, Step in Time, and more.
Disney's Mary Poppins starts December 5th at the Stanley Industrial Alliance stage. Tickets start from just $29 at artsclub.com. Mary Poppins, that's artsclub.com.
It's practically perfect in every way.
This is Kia Vancouver's Soccer Talk on CIL 650. Now broadcasting from the Barber & Co. studios. Here's your host, Tyler Green.
Greg Ballack, our producer, getting rave reviews for the music choices last week. First song out of the gate, Blink 182. Again, one of those, we talked about one of the topics that we're going to discuss in the starting 11, the New York City FC kit. I think so far, I've really just seen love it or hate it. It hasn't been both. Blink 182, one of those bands, you either love them or hate them.
I'm indifferent, actually, myself. But
Simon says, who?
Actually, that's a far more accurate answer, yes.
Who? All right, it's starting 11 time. You can tweet us your thoughts on the starting 11 on Twitter at Tyler Green FC, or my co-host and Goal.com writer Simon Fudge is at Simon Fudge 74. Or, of course, the show is at Soccer Talk 650 and Facebook.com/Soccer Talk Van. And we go to number 1 in the starting 11. Simon, should we look at European minnows differently after both the Faroe Islands and Liechtenstein won and another team called San Marino drew?
Not really. I still think once you get to the end of this qualifying campaign that it will provide further evidence that really these small, minnow nations in Europe really need to pre-qualify for either a European Championship qualifying campaign that they're currently in or World Cup qualifying. I think it's still the best way and the fairest way. But there'll be many that'll think, that's, look at these results. That should say that they should be given a fair chance to take on the big boys. But I think it was a bit of a one-off. So, no, I don't think it really should change people's general perception that they probably should be pre-qualifying.
Well, I think very similar to you. every once in a while, teams are going to get lucky in a game. They are going to end up with a victory. The other team might not play well. You might just have it that one day and get the result that you're looking for. And I think that's probably the case. Now, it all happened on the same day for a lot of these teams, sort of the same weekend anyway. But I don't think that it's something that we should look at them differently. I still believe that there should be a little bit of a pre-qualifying tournament. But the one thing I have noticed over the years is that some of these teams just are not getting crushed as they used to. And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that they were playing the bigger teams. They were getting crushed. They knew where that competition was, what that type of level was. And I think it has made some of those teams improve and forced them really to go out and become better and look at a lot of different things. And when you have to pre-qualify, you're just taking away some of those smaller teams from getting the chance to play the bigger teams. And really, even when you look at it, getting to play some of those bigger teams, like a Germany, like an Italy, like an England, etc., those bring in a lot of money for those clubs as well, getting the opportunity to play against those teams. Because now, whereas when you look at it, a Faroe Islands versus a Liechtenstein game, probably, if they had to pre-qualify, not going to be a huge draw. But a game against a Germany, an Italy, Holland, a Spain, that might pack your stadium. That's probably being put into your biggest stadium. That's going to pack the stadium, and you're going to get some good revenue off that as well that you can then put back into the program.
That's right. Yeah, and I think that's what we're starting to see now with their results for sure. Number 2, Claudio Ranieri fired by Greece. Dick Advocat resigned as Serbia boss. How many European national team coaches will be unemployed by next Friday?
Well, I think it depends on how many games some of these teams are going to play. But if you are a team that should be near the top of your group and you are not near the top of your group, then you may very well be looking for a job by the end of the week as they try to look to salvage their qualifying. And so we could see some major changes. I think we might see, I'm going to say 2 more coaches by the end of the week looking for work because they're out of a job as a national team coach. I think it'll happen. We've seen already, like you said, a couple. I think we might see a couple more by the week's end.
I'm going to say certainly one, and it's someone that I think is probably going to see his time in Russia come to an end. I think Fabio Capello is going to be going. They were very poor today against Austria, losing in Vienna 1-0. And considering there's a lot of furor going on right now with the fact that the Russian Football Union is not paying his exorbitantly high salary because they simply can't afford to do so, I think things are coming to a head there. And I think certainly that would probably be the most notable one. But I could see maybe 1 or 2 more managers also moving on. It's getting to a critical point in the juncture of the qualifying campaign, and being that this will be the last set of games this year and they won't be back at it again until March, it's a good time for teams, if they can salvage anything, to make a change.
Number 3, and it brings up one of those guys that you mentioned, Fabio Capello. Has done well as a club manager. It hasn't necessarily translated to the national stage. He could be in trouble, as well as not getting paid. What should he do next?
I would think after a long break, and if he wants to keep going as a coach, because he's not the youngest of gentlemen out, as one would say, then maybe make a return to club management. The big upside that most coaches seem to find when they've gone from being in a national team job to a coaching to one in a club is that they get the day-to-day workings with players. You're once a month at best when you're a national team coach, particularly in Europe or in South America, for example. So I think in a lot of ways, I think that probably should be his next step. But I actually, part of me wonders if he's still got the desire left to keep coaching and keep managing.
Yeah, it will be interesting. And like you said, I think because he hasn't done so well as a national team manager, he probably won't continue on in that vein, because I don't think the bigger countries are going to be interested in him. And do you really want to go to some of those smaller countries after you've coached the likes of England and some of the major club teams that he's managed? I just don't see it in him, especially like you said, at the age that he is. He probably doesn't want a huge challenge. He wants to go somewhere where he knows that he's going to be able to step in and be in a successful situation. So I can definitely see him going back to a club side that will give him that opportunity. That is one of those top 2-3 teams in whichever country he chooses, and decides that's the one that he is going to go for. So it's going to be interesting to see what he does, but like you said, probably going to take some major time off here before he does that.
I would agree. Number 4, Iceland is undefeated so far in European Championship qualifying. Can they keep it up and throughout qualifying?
It's going to be tough for them. They've got some tough games coming up. They have, right now they're doing well. Like you said, they're top of the standings, tied with the Czech Republic. You look at that group, and you could say that there's some teams in there that should be able to get past, especially where they are right now. But they really need to sort of, I think, keep focused, not get ahead of themselves, not get overexcited as to the fact that they've been able to score a bunch of goals. They haven't given up any goals yet. So I think the biggest task that they need to do is not get ahead of themselves thinking, oh, we've got this in the bag. We've done so well so far. They've got to keep it simple and focus on every game and realize what they could possibly do, and really set it up for an exciting end for them. So it's going to be very fun to watch. They're going to drop one at some point. They're going to drop 1 or 2 games, but I still think in the end they're going to get enough to be able to get the automatic qualification.
It'll be a challenge for them to stay undefeated, but as you say, but I think if they go to the Czech Republic tomorrow and get a good result there, they should feel confident that maybe a year from now, when this whole qualification process comes to an end, they're going to be there amongst the last 24 teams to be part of Euro 2016. Iceland have impressed me incredibly. I think Lars Lagerbäck, the Swede, who was the former Sweden manager, has done an immense job there. And I think that one of the things that he'll probably will do, especially if their run of results keeps going as well as it has, is he'll keep those players' feet firmly on the ground and make sure that they know that they've got a long road still ahead of them. But I think certainly if they get a result tomorrow, I think they're going to be in some pretty good shape, and I think we could anticipate seeing them in France in the end.
You're listening to Kia Vancouver Soccer Talk. Kia Vancouver offering free oil changes, car washes, and airport parking and shuttle service. It's only at BC's #1 Kia dealership, Kia Vancouver, 396 Southwest Marine Drive at Yukon, KiaVancouver.com. Number 5 on the starting 11. If Wales beat Belgium in Brussels, will they qualify for Euro 2016? That game tomorrow morning, by the way, Sunday morning.
They will have taken a big step forward in doing so, I would say. They'll certainly put Belgium under a huge amount of pressure if they claim that. It would be a massive 3 points to claim, to go away to Belgium in Brussels and win there. Israel are a bit of a joker in that group, and so they're going to be the ones that could really upset the mix in terms of the way that they'll play. Israel are very difficult to play at home for any European side in qualifying. So I think if Wales can do that and they can get maximum points, it would be massive. I wouldn't say that it would let them qualify, but it would be a huge step forward.
Mathematically, they won't qualify just yet, but they will qualify. If they go on and beat Belgium in Brussels, beat them on the home turf, they will indeed qualify for Euro 2016, and it'll be a great result for them. They've got some players that are playing extremely well. They've got some dangerous weapons on that squad, and I think that if they can go and get a good positive 3 points in Belgium, they will definitely be one of the teams in the end that qualifies for Euro 2016, and we will definitely see that happen.
Number 6, what do you make of the Canadian under-20 squad drawing against England under-20s and then beating Russia under-21 so far in those friendlies over in Europe this week?
Oh, it's great. Now they did need that late goal to draw the England squad, but then a good result beating Russia as well. It shows that these guys have a lot of confidence, that Rob Gale, the head coach, has really instilled confidence, really has them playing a nice brand of football as well. It makes me pretty excited to see what this team can do in the next few games that they're going to be playing. And then once they get down to CONCACAF qualifying, really see what they can do. But those two results really has me excited to see and think that they have the ability to go into CONCACAF qualifying and really get a good positive result and have a good tournament in that. I like what I've seen so far. I like that they're getting a lot of things from a lot of different players. They're getting good positive games from different guys. They're getting goals from different players. And it's nice to see that all these guys, you're getting guys from Vancouver, you're getting guys from Toronto, you're getting guys from Montreal, from FC Edmonton. Not yet seen really anything from Ottawa, but they're still very young in their group that they're trying to mature. But you're seeing some college guys in the mix there, so you're seeing some good, diverse players coming from a lot of different programs. It's not just all from one area of the country. It's a lot of guys that are now coming together to really play. It's exciting times, I think, and I'm really excited to see what they can do in their next couple of games.
I'm very encouraged by it as well, or excited, I as no less would say. I think for the short term, certainly in terms of their ability to try and qualify for the Under-20 World Cup next year when they go to CONCACAF qualifying early in the new year, I think that's going to be quite exciting to see how they take on their rivals in CONCACAF. But the future of the senior squad looks encouraging by what these players are showing what they can do at this point in their fledgling careers. And as you say, I think we're seeing the fruits of a lot of these Canadian Pro Club academies, the labor that they've put in really starting to show, because, again, as you say, they are coming from a variety of different sources, but nonetheless from very similar sources and programs that were only set up just a few years ago. And there are some of the fruits of that labor, and it's starting to pay some real positive early stage signs of what kind of the potential we could see going forward here.
And it is our Barber poll tonight, brought to you by barberandco.ca. Are the recent results for the Canadian men's U20 squad giving you hope for the future of Canadian soccer? You can weigh in at Soccer Talk 650, at Tyler Green FC, or at Simon Fudge 74. Let us know what you think of this Canadian U20 squad on the program. Short timeout. When we return, we'll continue the starting 11. In the second half of the program, Whitecaps head coach Carl Robinson going to ask him a lot of tough questions about some players that have already left, some players that have a lot of people wondering if they are leaving, what he's going to do in the dispersal draft and the expansion protection list. All that coming up at 11:15, plus former Whitecaps head coach Tater Torderson at about 11:30 this evening. But like I said, up next, we'll continue our conversation in the starting 11. And speaking of the Canadian squad, does the Canadian U20 result get you more excited about the future of the national team or the Whitecaps? Simon and I will discuss that coming up in the starting 11 next.
Follow us on Twitter at Soccer Talk 650 and at Tyler Green FC. This is Kia Vancouver's Soccer Talk on Sea Isle 650.
Nearly 70 years ago, Charlie Wolford first started fixing loggers' boots. He did such a good job, loggers said if he'd make boots from scratch, they'd buy them and tell their buddies. Charlie named his brand Dayton, and ever since, Dayton Boots has put the same craftsmanship and love in every pair built right here in Vancouver. Times change, but the quality in every handcrafted pair of Dayton boots never has. Mention Kia Vancouver Soccer Talk and take 10% off Dayton Boots, 2250 East Hastings. Dayton, wear a legend that lasts.
Whether playing soccer on this continent or football on every other, Umbro is the name worn by top players and teams worldwide. Those same uniforms are available for your team or club at Umbro.com. Umbro, proud to be the official supplier of Canada's men's and women's national teams, is celebrating 90 years of expertise in the game. If you want your club to play like the pros, dress them like the pros at Umbro.com. Umbro, the heart and soul of football.
Talk about beautiful goalkeeping. During Winterfest, Kia Vancouver is stopping all payments on new 2015 Kia models till next year and stopping winter with a holiday bonus of up to $1,000 towards a 2015 winter-ready model with loads of heated features and rugged winter tires. Hurry in for all the Winterfest saves at Kia Vancouver, where you get free lifetime car washes, oil changes, and free airport shuttle and parking with your new Kia purchase. Kia Vancouver, Southwest Marine Drive at Yukon and KiaVancouver.com.
The family story begins generations ago on Via Tevere, a street in the heart of Naples, where food was the celebration of life. Today, in East Van, Via Tevere Pizzeria Napoletana honors their family heritage with La Vera Pizza Napoletana, pizza that showcases authentic Neapolitan ingredients and the time-honored tradition of wood-fired cooking. Come experience La Vera Pizza Napoletana, true Neapolitan pizza at Via Tevere Pizzeria, 1190 Victoria Drive, and look for the Via Tevere Neapolitan Express food cart around town.
How do you sell a diamond necklace you inherited or that diamond ring after the divorce? Canadian Estate Diamonds.
Canadian Estate Diamonds offers the highest prices for fine diamonds and gold and 3 liquidation scenarios to suit your needs. Same-day payment via certified check, consignment website, or auction.
When it's time to sell, learn more at CanadianEstateDiamonds.com.
Join Canadian Estate Diamonds on CL 650's Boomer Life this Monday at 6. Other Boomer Life Monday sponsors include Riviera Retirement Living and Mainland Hearing.
One word makes all the difference. Trust. You can't earn it overnight. You can't put a price tag on it. Trust must be earned. Over the last 30 years, BC Furnace has built their reputation on trust. Tens of thousands of customers now recommend BC Furnace by name for installation, maintenance, and repairs, in large part to one thing: trust. BC Furnace, keeping Lower Mainland homes warm and comfortable for over 30 years.
BCFurnace.com, BC's #1 choice.
This is Kia Vancouver's Soccer Talk on CIL 650. Now broadcasting from the Barber & Co. studios. Here's your host, Tyler Green.
No MLS games this weekend as they took a timeout for some international friendlies and the international break, but the schedule is out for next week, and Simon has all those scheduled games brought to you by Dayton Boots. That's DaytonBoots.com.
That's right. The games are all next Sunday, November 23rd. The Eastern Conference Final first leg will be against the New York Red Bulls hosting New England Revolution, and then the Western Conference Final first leg will be LA Galaxy hosting the Seattle Sounders. Both games next Sunday, November 23rd.
That was the MLS scoreboard brought to you by Dayton Boots. Mention Kia Vancouver Soccer Talk and take 10% off quality. Handcrafted right here in BC. Dayton Boots, 2250 East Hastings. Dayton Boots, wear the legend that lasts. That's DaytonBoots.com. Still to come on the program, David Sandals of Expert Physio is back from his anniversary. He is from Expert Physio, and he's going to be by to talk injuries, some national teams dealing with some issues. Seattle Sounders have a player that is very key to them, and Osvaldo Alonso. Will he be able to recover from that hamstring injury in time? Plus head coach Carl Robinson, all that in the second half of the program. Rancid. Is that Rancid bringing us back?
That was Rancid. Very good, Tyler. I'm surprised you got that.
When was that song released? I think I was probably just graduated high school.
Well, there comes a time, I think, in any person that was born in the late 80s or early 90s where they went through a pop-punk sort of phase. So I think that's the theme for today's show.
Pop punk.
I don't know if I call Rancid pop punk.
No,
but
they're
pretty punk.
They'd be punk, for sure. Let's get back to the starting 11. Find out what music is next, coming up in about 10 minutes' time. And whether Greg gets rave reviews. That might be question 12 on the starting 11. Your thoughts on his music selection. We'll talk about that after. Because right now, we're talking about the Canadian U20 squad. And we talked about their results over a draw against England, 2-2, and then a 2-1 victory over Russia. And what that sort of means to our like or dislike of the Canadian program. But those results, Simon, with number 7 on the starting 11, does the Canadian U20 results get you more excited about the future of the Canadian national team? Or because there are some very key components to the Whitecaps' future, does it get you more excited about the Whitecaps' future?
Both, actually. In the short term, it's the Whitecaps youngsters, Bustos, Carducci, and Froze, who I think it'd be interesting to see as early as next season what kind of impact they could have, whether it's in the first team or even potentially in a proposed USL Pro side. I think that's the thing that I'm certainly looking forward to in the very near future. Long term, the national team is got to give it some excitement, because I've always stated that the biggest issue with this national team of ours has been quality of player, and that player being able to basically be good enough to play at the international level. And what we've got in that current under-20 group are some players that I think might just have the ability where previous players before them could actually be able to shine at the international level, because it's been missing for a long time. So in a lot of ways, I'm excited on both ends.
Yeah, it is. Like you said, I think it's going to be very exciting for the, for that that group right now. For the Whitecaps, I'm looking at, because, here's a player in Sam Adekubi that really, I think, is going to be challenging a Jordan Harvey for a starting position next year. If he continues to progress on that same, probably not at the very start of the season, but I could definitely see him trying to make a run. And if Jordan Harvey gets hurt, I could really see him kind of going in there and really trying to take that job away from him. Then, like you said, Keans Froze, who looks like he's, by all accounts, is a player that we should be very excited about. And talking to Carl Robinson off, away from the microphones, etc., really thinks that Keans Froze could really do something special, and is a guy that he thinks could get some, at least 5 goals in Major League Soccer, which, if you're a rookie coming in and you're getting some good playing time, that would be utterly fantastic. That could be Rookie of the Year candidate if you look at based on some of the goal totals from this year. So there are a bunch of exciting pieces that you look at for that. And then further on down the road, there are some pieces with this Canadian squad and players that have some talent. But if you can get the likes of some of these guys really contributing on the club team and really showing what they can do on possibly on a national side, I think down the road makes it very, very much more exciting, and something to actually look forward to. Because, usually it's always, it's not a great this or not a great that. It's always, something that's negative to talk about with the Canadian national team. But now it's these players that are coming through that we can look at, and you can really look at them and get excited about them in the future and think, wow, you know what? Maybe we actually do have some fun things to look forward to down the road.
And you wonder, especially if you look at the series of events in a very exciting way, they qualify for the Under-20 World Cup, perform well in qualifying early in the new year, Could they find themselves in the senior squad for the Gold Cup next year? I mean, there's that very good possibility. I think the senior men's national team has got a lot of needs in it right now, and those young players have got to realize that there's some major opportunities there that they can go and grab if they perform well at the under 20 level. Number 8, the Chivas USA dispersal draft is on Wednesday. If you are FC Dallas, who picked first in this dispersal draft, who would you select first?
Yeah, this is this is a tough one, because really, is there anybody you want? They were so bad last year that it's it's kind of one of those things that is sort of is anybody really going to stand out? The guy that everybody wants in Cubo Torres, not available. So you can't pick him. So you have to kind of look really long and hard, and there's some players that have some talent, but you also have to weigh and consider some of the financial concerns that some of these players have, because if you pick a player and you put them in the expansion draft, they don't get picked, you are on the hook for them. So if they have a huge contract, you are on the hook for that contract if you pick a Chivas player. And so I am going to go with midfielder Marco Delgado, because he's young, he's got a lot of upside and potential, he's a homegrown, so he doesn't count against the cap. And what do you have to lose by picking up a player that is, one, an American, so it makes it so you don't have to take a international spot, and it also gives you something possibly for the future, something very good for the future. Low risk, high reward is my thinking on that.
Thought exactly the same way. Marky Delgado, I think, is one of the more promising talents that came out of this Chivas USA squad, and their famed academy. So I would say that I think FC Dallas, being that they're in that first pick, and that they need to try and use it, in my opinion, they should take Marky Delgado, because I think it's a type of player that fits very much within that kind of Latin American kind of structure that Oscar Perea has with that squad, or has been at FC Dallas for quite a number of years. If they don't go that route, this would be a bit of a risky one, and you don't know how it would come off, because unfortunately he suffered a very serious knee injury earlier this year. But their first round draft pick from this season, Thomas McNamara, I wonder if he'll be one of the players that'll get selected by one of the clubs out there. It'll be taken by whomever if it happens, is a massive risk, but because of the fact that he was injured. But that there may be a bit of a payoff if someone does make that selection.
Yeah, he started the season on fire.
Yeah,
one of a great fantasy pickup. I had him on my fantasy team early and was just fantastic for points early on in the season. Then obviously the big injury, and that kind of sidelined him, obviously. But yeah, one of those, I think, low risk, high reward type picks if you can get him. If you can get him to change his haircut, probably that much better. The other pick that I was really considering was Dan Kennedy. And if you're FC Dallas, you already have some very good pieces there in goal for you. But if you can pick up Dan Kennedy, that is a piece that I think you could move for literally almost anything in Major League Soccer to give up to give a team a number one goalkeeper, and you could probably get some players that will fill a need elsewhere, or that will be definite starters on your team that will fill a need, or allocation money, a very good expansion, or a draft pick, a super draft pick. So he is another guy that I think will despite the fact that they have some very good goalkeepers in Dallas, I think that might be something you could toy with as well out of Dallas. You're listening to Kia Vancouver Soccer Talk on CL 650 here in Vancouver. My name's Tyler Green. Alongside me is Simon Fudge on Twitter at SimonFudge74. I'm at Tyler Green FC. We are talking dispersal draft. We figured out who we'd select first, but if you're the Vancouver Whitecaps, you pick 20th. What do you do, Simon?
If all the players that you desire out of that squad list have been picked and they're gone, then I think you basically have to say pass. I mean, it's a bit of an unenviable position that Vancouver are in, being at the bottom. They have to basically wait for every other club to make a decision, and I think if they probably have a list of players they would like to choose. If one of them is left by the time the roll call comes around to them, then maybe they'll go for it. But otherwise, if all options have been taken, take a pass and move on.
Yeah, you pass at that point, I think, because I don't think the players that you want are going to be available. And Carl Robinson has said, I want players I want to sign players that are better than the players I already have. And I don't think at 20th you're going to pick a player that is going to be better than somebody you already have. Now, there could be an opportunity like a McNamara who, hey, with that knee injury, team might not want to risk that, might not want to take that on. So maybe you select that. But chances are he'll probably be taken. I think you just pass.
Unless they want to take McNamara and get him reconstructed like they did with Mehdi Bellucci, got probably the league's best sports science setup in the league here, so you never know. Number 10, Jason Kreis, which is the New York City FC head coach, says Frank Lampard, their designated player, will be at preseason in January. Do you think he will?
I think he will. I think Frank Lampard is enjoying his time in England, but I think he signed a contract, and I think he will be here. He's had a message to the fans at the jersey release that they had earlier this week. I think he wants to get off on the right foot, play well for New York City FC. I think he's getting paid a lot of money to make sure that he gets paid well, he's going to be more than just a player. He's going to be a guy that needs, I think, to do a lot of publicity. And so I think he's going to be here at preseason, regardless of what's going on with Manchester City.
Yeah, I believe that he will. I do see Manchester City maybe making, or Pellegrini, if he's still in charge at that point, making a late appeal at the last hour to try and extend that loan, but I believe that he will be in New York because it's not just important from the marketing point of view and the buildup of the team off the pitch that he's got to be front and center with that, but it's also team chemistry. I think really it's important that he gets in and be part of that, and I think Jason Kreis, knowing how important preseason is in this league, will be very insistent that the likes of him and David Villa are very much part of it from the beginning.
Kia Vancouver offering free oil changes, car washes, airport parking, and shuttle service on the purchase of a new vehicle only at BC's #1 Kia dealership, Kia Vancouver, 396 Southwest Marine Drive at Yukon, KiaVancouver.com. And finally, number 11, sticking with New York City FC. What do you think of the new kit, Simon?
Well, my godfather came out with a great statement a long time ago, and he still uses it. I would say very similar. They look very similar to another team named City, and they're very similar to any team that wears Adidas kits. So I don't think they necessarily stand out all that much by color and design, but nonetheless, they're still a very clean look to the jersey. And I think the New York City FC fans will like it and will certainly purchase it.
And if you haven't seen it, CL650.com, the webcast, it's up now. For me, it's simplistic. It's, I think, kind of classy. It's not a surprise at all. And, with that said, it to me is just another just kind of dull jersey, simple and boring. And they probably could have done some very fun things. New York, They're they're going to play at Yankee Stadium. Pinstripes, such a huge thing to do with the Yankees. Why not go with some pinstripes?
Well, I think their away jersey or their secondary jersey will be more of an interest.
We don't know that yet.
Yeah, but there's
a
few other little colors in there that they might go and use and work it out, so you never know.
Yeah. Well, this one, wish it was a little more exciting. Quick break. Back with the latest news, notes, and rumors from around the globe. It's coming up next.
Follow us on Twitter at Soccer Talk 650 and at Tyler Green FC. This is Kia Vancouver's Soccer Talk on Sea Isle 650.
Whether playing soccer on this continent or football on every other, Umbro is the name worn by top players and teams worldwide. Those same uniforms are available for your team or club at umbro.com. Umbro, proud to be the official supplier of Canada's men's and women's national teams, is celebrating 90 years of expertise in the game. If you want your club to play like the pros, dress them like the pros at umbro.com. Umbro, the heart and soul of football.
Talk about beautiful goalkeeping. During Winterfest, Kia Vancouver is stopping all payments on new 2015 Kia models till next year and stopping winter with a holiday bonus of up to $1,000 towards a 2015 winter-ready model with loads of heated features and rugged winter tires. Hurry in for all the Winterfest saves at Kia Vancouver, where you get free lifetime car washes, oil changes, and free airport shuttle and parking with your new Kia purchase. Kia Vancouver, Southwest Marine Drive at Yukon and KiaVancouver.com.
The Straight Razor Shave, a leading man classic. Steady hand coaxing the rugged face back to smoothness. This nearly lost art has found revival at Barber & Co. Hot towel, straight edge blade, and your face. It's an experience that reminds you you're alive. You're a man in the company of history's finest men. Start at barberandco.ca. Pick your barber shop in Yaletown, Gastown, the Financial District, Cambiet 18th, and now Main Street and 12th Avenue. And relax into the big leather chair for the shave of your life.
The family story begins generations ago on Via Tevere, a street in the heart of Naples, where food was the celebration of life. Today, in East Van, Via Tevere Pizzeria Napoletana honors their family heritage with La Vera Pizza Napoletana, pizza that showcases authentic Neapolitan ingredients and the time-honored tradition of wood-fired cooking. Come experience La Vera Pizza Napoletana, true Neapolitan pizza at Via Tevere Pizzeria, 1190 Victoria Drive, and look for the Via Tevere Neapolitan Express food cart around town.
Let's kick off the holiday season with savings. Right now, at the Home Depot, get 100 mini incandescent indoor-outdoor holiday lights for only $9.98. And with our price guarantee, we won't be beat on price all season long. At the Home Depot, holidays happen here. So let's hit the lights, and let's save some money. Let's do this. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot, while quantities last.
The truth is, you just don't know what to do anymore. You worry about mom or dad being home alone. You worry if they're eating, if they're getting out, if they're lonely. Retirement Concepts is here to tell you seniors living isn't what it used to be. It's all about a balance of chef-inspired good meals, good friends, and beautiful accommodations.
Join us for a complimentary meal and personal visit. Go to retirementconcepts.com to find a retirement community close to you.
So nice to come home to. retirementconcepts.com. This is Kia Vancouver's Soccer Talk on Sea Isle 650. Now broadcasting from the Barber & Co. studios. Here's your host, Tyler Green.
Headlines from around the globe in a second, but first, our England scoreboard with Simon.
Yes, at Group E of Euro 2016 qualifying, England defeated Slovenia today by 3-1 at Wembley. Wayne Rooney scoring a penalty on his 100th cap for England. But it was a Danny Welbeck brace that saw the Three Lions get the 3 points to stay top of Group B. San Marino 0, Estonia 0, a bit of a surprise result there. And Switzerland 4, Lithuania 0.
Let's check the latest headlines from around the globe, taking a look at the news, notes, and rumors from around the globe. Brought to you by Steve Nash Sports Clubs. That's snclubs.com. Whitecaps related, as Major League Soccer should decide in the next couple of weeks whether Kekuta Mane will graduate from the Generation Adidas designation. And that'll be very important information for the Whitecaps to learn as it will determine whether or not they will need to protect him or choose not to protect him in the expansion draft. Christian Dean will also either graduate or stay as a GA. Some news from NASL as Simon Fudge is very excited about David Moyes taking over his Real Sociedad club and wearing the jersey of said team. Simon, some NASL championship game tonight.
Yes, indeed, and it's congratulations to the San Antonio Scorpions, who include former Whitecaps striker Eric Hasley and center back Greg Janicki, as well as Surrey, BC native Alan Marcin as their head coach. They defeated the Fort Lauderdale Strikers by 2-1, goals by Castillo and Forbes in that win at Toyota Field in San Antonio, Texas. Just over 7,800 people took in the game tonight. So San Antonio take the NASL Soccer Bowl trophy for 2014.
Very, very fun news there from San Antonio as they claim the championship. Some good results from the Canadian men's U20 squad. And are those recent results giving you some hope for the future of Canadian soccer? Ian Roberts on Twitter simply stating it, absolutely. Very excited for that. You can weigh in on the Barber poll at Tyler Green FC, at Simon Fudge 74, and at Soccer Talk 650. Right now, Kia Vancouver offering free oil changes, car washes, airport parking, and shuttle service only at BC's #1 Kia dealership, Kia Vancouver, at 396 Southwest Marine Drive at YukonKiaVancouver.com. Simon, I mentioned David Moyes taking over there.
Yep.
Happy about that?
Yes, indeed. It's always nice to see a former Bristol City player like David Moyes take over there. In a lot of ways, I think for where he was to where he came from with Everton, this move to Sociedad is a very good move for him. He will be on a bit of a sharp learning curve. He has had there is history of previous British managers being there before. Chris Coleman, the current Wales boss, being the last one. But if he can get himself immersed in the Basque culture and how that also sort of impacts the club, because this Sociedad, like Athletic Bilbao at one point, used to be a team which strictly played Basque players. That was until the early 90s when they decided to sign John Aldridge from Liverpool, the Republic of Ireland striker at the time. So he's got to get himself immersed in that and the local cultures and developing their own players, but he'd had such a long history of doing that at Everton that I think in a lot of ways it's a similar opportunity for him to do that and really try and turn Sociedad into being the type of team that should always be a fierce competitor in the Primera Liga.
And I did find his comment funny from earlier this week, saying that the Spanish Premier League is the best league in the world. Because what else is he going to say? It's like the third best. No, he's going to say it's the best. Coming up, Whitecaps head coach Carl Robinson. Plus, where in the Whitecaps are you? With Tater Torderson. But up next, expert physios David Sandals will chat injuries.
Follow us on Twitter at Soccer Talk 650 and at Tyler Green FC. This is Kia Vancouver's Soccer Talk on Sea Isle 650.
What do you want? A balcony so high it looks down into soccer matches at BC Place.
A pub I can walk to with a dozen big screens.
Kevin O'Toole has created findaproperty.ca to help you find it. Designed to be simply straightforward, findaproperty.ca is an invaluable tool. That's Kevin O'Toole, Prudential Sussex Realty, for buyers and sellers in the greater Vancouver area like you. So find what you want.
A backyard big enough for my own soccer pitch.
At findaproperty.ca.
Nearly 70 years ago, Charlie Wolford first started fixing loggers' boots. He did such a good job, loggers said if he'd make boots from scratch, they'd buy them and tell their buddies. Charlie named his brand Dayton, and ever since, Dayton Boots has put the same craftsmanship and love in every pair built right here in Vancouver. Times change, but the quality in every handcrafted pair of Dayton boots never has. Mention Kia Vancouver Soccer Talk and take 10% off Dayton Boots, 2250 East Hastings. Dayton, wear a legend that lasts.
Talk about beautiful goalkeeping. During Winterfest, Kia Vancouver is stopping all payments on new 2015 Kia models till next year and stopping winter with a holiday bonus of up to $1,000 towards a 2015 winter-ready model with loads of heated features and rugged winter tires. Hurry in for all the Winterfest saves at Kia Vancouver, where you get free lifetime car washes, oil changes, and free airport shuttle and parking with your new Kia purchase. Kia Vancouver, Southwest Marine Drive at Yukon and KiaVancouver.com.
The family story begins generations ago on Via Tevere, a street in the heart of Naples, where food was the celebration of life. Today, in East Van, Via Tevere Pizzeria Napoletana honors their family heritage with La Vera Pizza Napoletana, pizza that showcases authentic Neapolitan ingredients and the time-honored tradition of wood-fired cooking. Come experience La Vera Pizza Napoletana, true Neapolitan pizza at Via Tevere Pizzeria, 1190 Victoria Drive, and look for the Via Tevere Neapolitan Express food cart around town.
Not that your stylist at the salon isn't doing a good job, but man, you deserve the big red leather barber chair experience of Barber & Co. Here's how it works. Go to barberandco.ca. Book your appointment at one of the 5 barber shops in Gastown, Yaletown, the Financial District, Cambie at 18th, and now Main Street and 12th Avenue. You can just walk in, too, and get your hair cut, hot shave, buzz cut, fade, or beard trim experience. A great wedding party idea, too. barberandco.ca.
This is the sound of a decision.
All rise.
The choice to drink alcohol and then drive a car. If you kill someone while driving impaired, you should face a long term in jail. That's a deterrent. But too many get off easy. That's a disgrace. At Mad Canada, we believe the victims of impaired driving deserve respect. Offenders deserve jail.
Change for the better.
Mad Canada, helping the victim, stopping the crime.
This is CISL Vancouver, smooth and easy.